Welcome to anyone who has just joined. Please note we have muted your microphones for the duration of the webinar. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our 13th live mobility webinar. Today, our topic is relocating to Morocco, and I will mention the sections we'll be going through in just a moment. My name is Nausheena Hoosain. My background stems from the tourism and hospitality industry, including traveling and working abroad. I have been a client account specialist at Relocation Africa since 2019. During this time, I have successfully project managed countless expat relocations, including that of our host country today, Morocco. With that same breath, I would like to welcome Dawn. She is our in-house consultant and relocation expert in Morocco. She has been with Relocation Africa for more than 12 years. So at the end, the format of this webinar will be as follows. I will talk through various sections which have accompanying slides. During this time, please feel free to type questions as you think of them into the message box. Rest assured, doing so will not create a disturbance. At the end of the webinar, Dawn will endeavor to answer as many questions as she possibly can. This webinar is being recorded and a link to the replay will be shared with all registrants later this week. Just a further reminder, please note that we have muted everyone's microphones for the duration of the webinar. Today's topic will deal with housing, schooling, and settling in Morocco. We will cover topics including expat life, popular expat areas, average rental prices, leasing details, popular expat schools, and how utilities work. So let's have a look at a country overview as well as of the city. Morocco, officially the Kingdom of Morocco, is the northwesternmost country in the Maghreb region of North Africa. It overlooks the Mediterranean Sea to the north and the Atlantic Ocean to the west, and has land borders with Algeria to the east and the disputed territory of Western Sahara to the south. Almost all Moroccans follow Islam. Other minority religions include Christianity, Judaism, and Bahaism. Casablanca is the main gateway to Morocco, and most visitors' first taste of the country as it is home to an airport. This bustling city is Morocco's business powerhouse and industrial center with a modern swagger that is unseen in other parts of the country. Wow, just look at those stunning pictures bursting with color, illustrating the rich culture of the city. Casablanca, as the economic capital of Morocco, attracts international fashion brands that open stores in the city. For those of you who are shopping enthusiasts, just like me, you would be pleased to know that there are a number of amazing shopping malls in Casablanca. There's the Morocco Mall, the place with the most brands, the largest shopping center in Africa. It's about 200,000 square meters of floor space, located on the coast of Casablanca, and that's in Ain Diab. It has more than 600 brands. It has a diverse offer of basic brands to the most fashionable and luxurious. And to top, this mall features a massive 1 million liter aquarium that contains over 40 different species of fish. Visitors have the opportunity to take a ride through the center of the cylinder-shaped aquarium with a 360-degree view of the sea life. So other than the Morocco Mall, there's Anfa Place, where you'll find international brands as well as other categories. There's also the Marina Shopping Center. This is the third shopping mall that is located on Casablanca's coast and is the most recent. Here again, you find a diversity of stores. The Tashfeen Center. This is the fourth biggest mall in Casablanca, similar to Marina Shopping Center, and it is located not far from Casa Voyages railway station. In these malls, you'll find all types of goods from clothes to home appliances and electronic toys, groceries, and even food courts. Sorry, guys, if my pronunciation does go off on certain areas. I am trying my level best to pronounce as best as possible. Let's look at the culture and greetings. Morocco is a country with a rich culture and civilization. Through Moroccan history, it has hosted many people coming from the east, south, and north. All those civilizations have affected the social structure of Morocco. Culturally speaking, Morocco has always been successful in its combining its Berber, Jewish, and Arabic cultural heritage with external influences such as the French and Spanish, and during the last decade, Anglo-American lifestyles. No one is expecting you to speak the Moroccan dialect. However, if you can greet a stranger with Assalamu alaikum or respond to this greeting, which would be Wa alaikum salam, as you're giving a firm handshake with your right hand, then you are off to a good start. If your hands happen to be dirty or wet, use the back of your right hand to touch theirs. If in doubt, use French greetings like bonjour, monsieur, madame. That will go a long way. I know it's the era of COVID right now, and shaking hands is probably not on the top of our list at this point, but this is just for future reference as well. This is Dawn. She's our Moroccan consultant. And she has shared her personal insight on Moroccan hospitality, which I'm going to read out to you. So this is from Dawn, and I'm reading it as it was sent to me. Moroccans are known for their hospitality. They are very proud of their cooking and the traditional dishes that they delight in preparing and sharing with foreign guests. The markets are very colorful and full of fruit and vegetables of all kinds all year round. Not to forget a myriad of spices. No wonder the Moroccan cook is inspired by such abundance. Traditionally, Moroccans eat at a low round table. The meal will start with a wide choice of salads, cooked and uncooked, accompanied with the local bread of which they are very fond. A delight for the senses, a palette of colors and smells. The second course, usually a tagine, is a Moroccan hot pot served in a conical tagine dish. Meat, chicken, or fish is simmered with vegetables or dried fruits with a delicate mixture of spices. Popular tagines are, for example, chicken with olives and pickled lemon or beef with prawns, sprinkled with sesame seeds. Originally, such dishes were cooked for hours on a wood fire. Foreign guests, thinking this is the main dish, take really large helpings of this delicious stew. Much to their surprise, a large couscous heaped with vegetables often follows on. By this stage, they wonder how they can fit in another crumb. Luckily, the meal ends on a lighter note with a variety of fresh fruit. Traditionally, Moroccans don't make desserts, but the almond and honey sweetmeats are to die for, accompanied by a glass of my personal favorite, mint tea. Moroccan mint tea is really something else. Bismillah, as they say, enjoy your meal. Thanks, Dawn. I'm super hungry right now. Let's move along and look at the practical do's and don'ts. So, first things first, respect Moroccan culture and religion. In Morocco, and in like any other country, tourists should respect local customs. If you go to Morocco during the period of Ramadan, for instance, be careful not to consume alcohol in public. It is also recommended not to drink, eat, and smoke in public, or at least with discretion, especially in less touristy areas. Also, another thing to keep in mind is that if you see near the entrance of a place shoes, be sure to take yours off. Learn to bargain. This is one of my personal favorite traits that I always love to do, especially when traveling. In Morocco, everyone negotiates because negotiation is part of the Moroccan culture. You should know, for your information, that the fact of being a foreigner makes prices rise considerably and automatically, which is why in souks, prices are very rarely displayed. They will vary according to the time of day. Yes, yes. Imagine prices varying according to the time of day, how the customer looks like, and even sometimes depending on the seller's mood. So try learning basic Arabic words, even if it's not necessary to know Arabic or to be able to make you understand. As a tourist, you will get nicer feedbacks when they see you are making an effort to speak their language. Explore and enjoy the country's vibe. Take the time to enjoy every aspect of Morocco, its diverse cities and spirit, to enjoy the most of its beautiful and magical vibe. And get to know the locals. Moroccan people are very social and even considered to be one of the most welcoming and hospitable countries in the world compared to other countries where intimacy is key. It is therefore preferable to keep in mind to be more open and social than you probably are. But don't worry, like many other tourists that come to Morocco before you, this will be done without thinking, marveling at the Moroccans' kindness. Moving on to the don'ts. What you shouldn't do in Morocco. Do not eat, hand, or take things with your left hand. The left hand is considered unclean and is often prohibited when touching food or shaking hands. So remember, always use your right hand with Moroccans. Avoid these topics: the king, the country, and the religion. Let's look at the safety aspect in Morocco. While tourism has suffered in recent years due to fear of terrorist attacks, Morocco has actually remained quite safe. One factor protecting the country is the informal system of communication with authorities. Many people around each neighborhood are able to keep a watch on what is going on with areas, residents, and report anything suspicious for activities of your neighbors, which serves as a kind of a neighborhood watch. Additionally, security is quite high in Morocco, and most major cities are patrolled by security officers. Although this threat is unpredictable, Morocco has undoubtedly taken the necessary precautions to keep the country safe. Violent crime is rare. Avoid wearing expensive jewelry or carrying large amounts of cash in public. Be particularly careful of thieves on motorcycles who may try to grab your purse and flee. And you can keep an eye out for this sign on your right. This is an emblem of the police force. Looking at healthcare, the health sector in Morocco is quite well developed with medical infrastructure that meets international standards. This hospital shown over here is the Sheikh Khalifa International University Hospital, known as the HCK. It is a flagship private hospital offering 24/7 emergency services. Be sure to check with your health insurance to see what is covered. Let's move on to the economy. The Moroccan currency is the dirham. So the dirham is a restricted currency, meaning that it cannot be taken out of the country, and it's also not available abroad. The dirham is fairly stable with no major fluctuations in exchange. Euros, US dollars, and British pounds are the most easily exchanged currencies. It is advised to acquire a Moroccan credit card. You first need to give some thought to the bank where you want to open your account. The choice may be based on the fees that are applied, a contract with your company, interest rates, or proximity to where you live or work. You would need to present your passport as well as your Moroccan residency card. Most banks are open Monday to Friday from 8 till about 3:30 p.m. There are three types of accounts. There's the bank account, which would be in MAD. This bank account can be used only in Morocco. You can withdraw dirhams even if it can credit foreign currency amounts. Note that the credited currency amounts are automatically converted into dirhams. Then there is another bank account, which is bank account in convertible dirhams. This bank account is credited with amounts in foreign currency only and does not accept dirham deposits. However, you can withdraw cash in dirhams or in other countries' currencies if you are abroad. So if your employer pays you in a currency different than MAD, this may be the best account for you. Then there's also a bank account in foreign currency. With this bank account, you can make deposits and withdrawals only in foreign currencies. Moving along to transport, we have a picture of what a typical bus, and as well as the railway system in Morocco looks like. Morocco has one of the best road systems on the continent. Over the past 20 years, the government has built approximately 1,770 kilometers of modern roads, connecting most major cities via toll expressways. In 2014, Morocco began the construction of the first high-speed railway system in Africa, linking the cities of Tangiers and Casablanca. It is the first phase of what is planned to eventually be a 1,500 kilometer high-speed rail network in Morocco. An extension of the line to Marrakesh is already being planned. Morocco has the largest port in Africa and the Mediterranean called Tangier, which is ranked the 18th in the world with a handling capacity of over 9 million containers. It is situated in the Tangiers Free Economic Zone and serves as a logistics hub for Africa and the world. Let's look at housing. Look at these beautiful examples of the lovely, colorful streets and houses in the city. The popular expat areas, there's Ain Diab. This is a seaside neighborhood with many gated compounds, modern villas, and some luxury houses. There are more villas here than apartments. Anfa, the most luxurious area with spacious older houses. Some are renovated and large gardens, mostly with pools. Longchamp, large comfortable houses, mostly old with large gardens. There's Boscura. This is a modern gated condominiums with several golf courses close to the Boscura forest and the airport road and motorway. Several international schools have moved here. Garcia, this is a downtown area with apartment blocks and leafy streets, many restaurants and shops. Racine, this is also a downtown area with apartment blocks, wider streets, less leafy than Garcia. This is a newer area than Garcia, by the way, and it has many restaurants and shops. So we at Relocation Africa, we carry out biannual housing surveys in all our destination cities to keep us up to date with the current trends. So you may refer to this survey table. This is our latest, which reflects the table seen in the slide for both furnished and unfurnished properties. Please note that rentals can always be negotiated. Our latest for Morocco reflects the table seen in the slide for example, if we look at a 2-bedroom furnished apartment, these are between 12,000 to 15,000 Moroccan dirhams, which is approximately 1,350 to $1,500 a month. 1-bedroom apartments are very few and not particularly popular with expats. Most apartment complexes are 2 and 3 bedroom. 3 and 4 bedroom houses are common, while 5 and 5 bedroom houses are few and far between. Most houses come unfurnished with a few furnished options. It is not common to rent furniture in Morocco. Most expats prefer to buy from foreign furniture companies, which are expensive, or locals, which are good and less expensive. It is also possible to negotiate this with the owner to include providing furniture at a slightly higher rental. Most rental payments are required in advance for the full lease period. We will now take a look at leasing details and requirements in Morocco. I do have a little question that has popped up about one needing to pay rent for 12 months in advance, like in other countries. So looking at that now, the rental contract registration fee is none. And generally, the deposit that is needed is just a 2 months rental deposit on most. The agent broker's fee is 1 month rent plus 20% VAT. The rental escalation amount is about 8%, and 8% after 3 years is a legal requirement in Morocco. Most landlords will accept a diplomatic or break clause. Leases can be personal or corporate. French is the legal recognized language for leases. The withholding tax is about 10.5%, which is payable by the landlord. Utilities are not included in the rent. White goods, not usually, but can be negotiated with the landlord. And the property tax is payable by the landlord. The amount can vary. Let's move on to the utilities. One is an electricity, utility, and bulk water provider that produces 80% of the country's drinking water. Tap water is considered drinkable, and Morocco enjoys a large variety of excellent mineral bottled water. Television. Many people do have TVs, but there is not a TV in every household. Most channels are broadcasted in Arabic and French. Channel guides are put out in the newspaper and on the radio. The main television network in Morocco is Radio Diffusion, Television Moroccan. It is state-operated and functions on a national level. The network is responsible for broadcasting a wide variety of programs and shows in languages, including Arabic, French, Berber, Spanish, and English. 2MTV focuses on education and entertainment. There is a variety of programs, including news, talk shows, and dramas, partly owned by the Moroccan government. 2M broadcasts countrywide and is available on Globecast satellites. Satellite dishes have been replaced by digital TV that offers foreign language channels from all over the world. And then we can always resort to our current favorite, which is online streaming. So streaming shows online can allow you to watch your shows from your home country. So you'll still feel a little bit at home. With regards to internet, there are 3 telephone or internet companies in Casablanca. They are Morocco, Telecom, Orange, and Inwe. The competition between them has lowered costs. The internet and phone networks in Morocco are among actually the 5 best in Africa. Getting the services are quite easy, and you'd probably need to just produce your rental contract to the closest preferred operator agency and sign the contract. So it's as simple as that. We have another question that has popped up with Dawn being able to comment on the facilities and in Marrakesh and Casablanca. Towards the end of the webinar, Dawn will be answering that as well. So just moving on to the driver's licenses. Foreign drivers can drive with a valid driving license issued to them abroad for a maximum of 1 year from their entry in Morocco. At the end of this period, they must take the test to obtain their Moroccan licenses. let's move on to schooling. On this picture over here, on our right, there's a picture of the British International School, secondary school. International schools provide similar standards of schooling around the globe, providing for an easy transition between schools. There is usually local population as well as an international student body. Schools may follow a curriculum model from the US, UK, France, etc. Primary instruction may be any language and multiple languages are usually taught, but it is usually in English. Schools also provide internationally accreditation. Admission and enrollment procedures vary from school to school. Space is often limited, and preference may be given to students based on nationality. Tuition tends to be quite expensive based on local standards, but offers high standards of learning. It boasts smaller class sizes, first-rate facilities, and extracurricular. Boarding facilities are available at some schools, but most only provide day classes. Let's look at a list of the popular expat schools. So, the first popular one that we have is the International School of Morocco. This is a small school with a global perspective for early childhood and primary pupils. It is an accredited British school overseas and IB World School. There's the Casablanca American School. The school adheres to the American educational system and was the first school in North Africa to offer the international program. The American Academy Casablanca. English is the primary language of instruction, although Arabic and French are also taught. The AAC will offer an accredited American high school diploma to its graduating seniors. Advanced placement classes are offered and students can be eligible for an APA distinction diploma when successfully passing 5 AP exams. Uniforms are required. Then looking at the George Washington Academy. This is the only school in Morocco to offer the IB diploma, AP classes, as well as American high school diploma recognized in Morocco. Now, excuse my pronunciation over here. I'm not the best at French pronunciation. Laquille Latte, a French school belonging to the French mission with classes from secondary to bachelorette. This curriculum adheres to the standards of the Agency for the Teaching of French Abroad. Let's just take a browse through to the colorful streets of Morocco. This is definitely on my bucket list post-COVID. And now, on a lighter note, I just wanted to share some insights on myself. I am a keen cook, and silently I wish that someday I'd get a call from MasterChef and they'd tell me, we are waiting for you to be a contestant. Or they'd open up applications that I could come and join and partake in it. I have actually shared a picture. So on the left, there are 3 tagines in my oven, one of which, the brown one over there, and these I have locally purchased at, there is in Cape Town, a Moroccan-owned restaurant, quite popular, and they actually sell these tagines. So I have actually, they are directly from Morocco. They're not a Cape Town standby. I tried to make a tagine. So these are authentic Moroccan tagines. And the one on the left contains a slow-cooked lamb tagine. And then on the right, you'll see it decked up with vegetables and couscous right at the bottom. You can't actually view the couscous over here, but that was my take on it. I really enjoy sourcing and looking at international cuisines. Moroccan cuisine being one of my favorites to experiment with. I'm sure I made everybody hungry right now, hey? Let's move on to Moroccan business etiquette. Moroccan business etiquette is quite complex due to the mix of Arabic, Muslim, Berber, and French cultures. As most Moroccans are practicing Muslims, Islamic values have quite a large impact and influence on Moroccan business culture. Morocco is also a former French protectorate, and many of its business practices are based on the French system. The first one that you need to look at is primary contact. It is quite important to make a good impression when meeting Moroccan business contacts for the first time. This is because they tend to be quite reluctant in doing business with people they don't know. Make sure you begin by establishing a personal connection with your counterpart before getting down to the serious stuff. Punctuality. Moroccans tend to have a looser sense of time rather than the most Western countries. Nevertheless, it's important that you arrive on time to your meetings. A negotiation agenda is really timed in advance, and meetings can start and end much later than initially scheduled. Greetings. So shaking hands and exchanging welcoming words without being incredibly formal is considered to be the norm. However, this can vary based on gender. When meeting someone from the same sex, handshakes, usually on the loose side, are common. Women could also meet each other with kisses on the cheek, usually alternating 3 times. When someone from the opposite sex, when you meet that person, it is best to allow your counterpart to extend their hand. Gifting. Exchanging gifts is not very necessary in a first business meeting. However, things in Morocco tend to get quite personal, and you may be invited to your counterpart's home. In this situation, it is quite appropriate to bring a gift such as fruit, pastries, or flowers. Avoid gifting alcohol unless you know for sure that your host drinks alcohol. Dress code. Business attire tends to be quite formal and conservative for both sexes. Men should wear dark business suits, while it is recommended for women to dress conservatively. With business cards, there is no formal protocol surrounding the exchange of business cards. It is advisable to give business cards that are in French or Arabic, at least on one side of it. It is also recommended to exchange business cards with, once again, your right hand. So remember, always your right hand. In all Muslim countries, the left hand is always considered to be unclean. Business meetings tend to be long and their time schedule rather unpredictable. It is recommended to bring an interpreter, as most negotiations are always conducted in French or also in Arabic, and at times in English as well. Most meetings start with small talk. Appropriate topics include family, sports, and weather. As we are now reaching the end of the webinar, I know lots of you have actually gone ahead and posted some questions. We are actually getting Dawn to be able to answer those questions that have come through. So just give us one moment. You can actually go ahead and post your questions at this point. I just want to confirm that we do have Dawn on board, so please bear with us. Hi, Dawn. So we do have a few questions that has popped up. The first one, I'm not sure if we have you online. Do we have you on air right now? Hi, Dawn. Can you hear me? Okay, it seems like we're having a bit of a technical problem here with trying to get her online onto our webinar. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give her a call and hope that works. Hi, Dawn.
Hello?
Hi. I have you online on our webinar right now. For some reason, I cannot get you to access directly onto the webinar.
I don't understand why.
Okay.
Let me go back. I don't.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is we'll continue with this call and I'll ask you the questions and I'll try and answer to see if everybody can hear me. One of the first questions that I do have is, when employed in Morocco, do you need to open a local bank account or can you use a foreign bank account with a SWIFT code?
Well, no, you need to open a local bank account, particularly if you're going to be paid locally. You'll need a local bank account. Because if you're using a foreign bank account and you're paying for products locally, it's going to cost you a lot in tax as well, in fees. So you definitely need a local bank account.
Okay, so that's confirming that question. You do definitely need a local bank account.
Yes.
Okay. Is Morocco a left-hand drive country?
No. We drive on the right-hand side.
We drive on the right-hand side. Okay, so Morocco is not a left-hand drive country. So nobody that drives on the right-hand side needs to freak out over here at all. Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
What is the general dress code in the work environment?
Well, it's quite formal. Suits for the gents and tidy skirts or trousers.
So
for the ladies, jackets.
Okay, so suits for the gents and quite a formal setup for the females as well. Obviously,
well, it really depends. It depends on which field you're in. Obviously, if it's something more artistic or advertising or something like that, they're much more informal. But if you're going into a bank or an insurance company, then they'll be much more formal.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And I know we did go through the international schools, and they obviously follow the British or international academic year. But generally, do you know, with the schools or even the local schools and international schools, though, do they follow a Jan to December academic year? No. Hey? Yeah.
No. They follow September to June academic year.
Yeah. So that's the normal international curriculum.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to confirm that was another question I had. I have a very great participating audience here today. Questions. By the way, guys, Dawn is actually in the UK right now. She's on holiday in the UK, so she's coming live from the UK. Tell us. Yes, they can hear you. What does your expat community prefer, Casablanca or Marrakesh?
Well, it really depends where they're working. It depends where their business is. But most businesses are in Casablanca. if the expats happen to be in the hotel business down in Marrakesh, where there are a lot of hotels, or maybe there might be individual working for themselves. Some people might prefer Marrakesh because it's more low key and it is more exotic. But it really depends on where the expat is working.
Okay. And then there was another question that I had posed, very common one. The audience would like to know, the registered would like to know, are you able to comment on the facilities in Marrakesh and Casablanca?
What do you mean by facilities?
It's a very vague question.
I
suppose maybe general housing facilities. Let's just go through the general facilities as well as, maybe entertainment facilities as well.
Sure. Well, there's quite a lot. There's quite a good selection of housing, and rents are obviously much lower than in Casablanca or Rabat. There are, as far as transport's concerned, well, there's not the same, but a much smaller city, of course, so you don't need trams and trains. So there are small taxis to get around, or donkey, or horse-driven carts, if you like, carriages rather. As far as entertainment is concerned, there's quite a lively cultural life there. There's quite a buzz on the cultural scene there. Quite an exciting place. There's a lot of, in a way, there's more. There's lots of art galleries and things go on. There's quite a lot going on there culturally.
And
what else can I?
The person that asked the question actually just wanted to know more about the infrastructure as well.
I.e. transport, or how do you mean?
I did actually touch on the topics of transport and railway. I know the railway system looks like it's really in, but if you can just comment on normally how people travel to work, especially, you've done many expat projects before as well. How are your expats traveling to the office and so on?
Well, it's quite flat, so people bike there.
Yeah.
As long as they set off early in the morning before it gets too hot. Otherwise, they walk, and they use their private cars, or they use little local taxis. We have small taxis that can be shared by the people, not so much at the moment, of course, during COVID, but otherwise there's a very good railway system which just goes up to Casablanca, because the railway network is not very developed in Morocco at all, particularly down in the south.
Okay. Well, Dawn, thank you so much. It looks like we've covered a lot of the questions, and sorry about the little bit of a glitch that we did have there at the beginning.
I did spot another question that we didn't bring up. The very first question, somebody asked about rent, how much rent you had to pay in advance for rental accommodation, asking if you had to pay 12 months. No, you certainly don't have to pay 12 months rent in advance. You pay, it tends to be maximum, one month in advance. In fact, it's 1 month in advance, plus a security deposit.
It's security deposit, okay, thanks for that. And then one last question has come in. Is Casablanca more developed than Marrakesh? Promise you this is the last one.
Much more. It's much more developed, yes. Yes. It's just incomparable. Casablanca is the big, buzzing, sprawling international city. Marrakesh is relatively small town, which has been developed for tourism, but there's no industry down there.
Okay.
So it's completely different. Completely different.
Dawn, I really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. I know that you are on holiday right now in the UK, and I've taken up your personal time.
No, not at all.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. pleasure. Congratulations on your accent, by the way, because it's not always easy what you had to pronounce.
I know. It was quite hard. But thank you so much for joining our webinar today. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Dawn.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
So guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Within the next week, a recording of this webinar will be uploaded to our YouTube channel, and you will receive a direct link to the recording. Please feel free to share this with any of your colleagues who could not attend today. Likewise, if you think of any colleagues who might enjoy future webinars from us, please do let them know that they are welcome to request a sign-up by emailing us via marketing@relocationafrica.com. Thank you so much for joining us today. Guys, please keep safe during these uncertain and challenging times. Goodbye.